My first time seeing this segment, but I was just talking about this. Melo basically said he would have 2 or 3 championships. I'll explain. I'll just get my points when Stephen A give his, like, and pause it. But Wade and Melo did like an Instagram live, I guess, chatting with each other. And basically the question is how many rings would Melo have? And then I guess I just want to see what Stephen A got to say.
I would have went to Detroit. I know I'd have had maybe 2 or 3 rings. 2. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know how everything else would have played out after that throughout my career.
All right, in an Instagram live chat with Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony says that if he had been drafted 2nd overall by the Pistons back in 2003 instead of Darko Milicic, he would have had maybe 2 or 3 rings. As it stands, despite being a 10-time All-Star, Carmelo has 0 rings and 1 Western Conference Finals appearance. Stephen A., so tell me this, if he had been drafted by Detroit, would he have multiple chips?
He'd have at least 1. I can promise you that. Possibly.
Yeah, I agree. At least 1.
2. Let's remember something here. When Joe Dumars, an otherwise exceptional executive that I still believe should have an executive's position in the NBA today, the most glaring mistake he ever made was drafting Darko Milicic. But
yeah, they could have had Melo. I know they just said they wouldn't have got Sheed, but I don't think they would have needed Rasheed if they had Melo. Their defense is already good enough. You don't need 2 big. It wasn't that many. Like we played Spurs. You had to play against Tim Duncan. Like who else? Who else was a big man that was in the post? So you had Ben Wallace, so he was good. Then Melo can guard. I mean, you're telling me Melo can't. Whoever Malik Rose, whoever the power forward was in 03 or 05. It's like you're telling me Melo couldn't guard him.
Let's understand why he did that. As egregious as some may think that is, he had Tayshaun Prince with Rasheed and Ben Wallace
But this was the era where they played center, power forward. The power forwards was kind of weak, though. So I'm saying you see, like, Malik Rose starting, and this is that kind of era. But, yeah, I don't think they need to receive to win the championship. I think they would have won with Melo.
Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups with the Lindsey Hunters of the world coming off the bench. And Carmelo Anthony's rookie year, the Detroit Pistons won the title. That's when they beat the Lakers. The next year, they went...
Yeah, they beat the Lakers, and I think they would have... I think they still could have beat them if they had Melo instead of Rasheed. I just don't understand.
To the NBA Finals and lost in 7 games to the San Antonio Spurs.
Right, then they went back and lost in 7 games to the Spurs. They needed somebody to close them games out, man. Like, besides Chauncey. They would have had Melo right there. But, like I said, Melo could have been good. They would have been good without Rasheed. Their defense wouldn't have been number 1 or whatever it was. They probably would have filled number 5 or 6, but it's like it still wouldn't have been that bad. They still would have made it to the finals.
Should have won it in 5 or 6, but Rasheed Wallace forgot to guard Robert Horry in the left corner, who drilled the 3.
Yeah, but think about it though. I mean, Rasheed is a true big man, and Ben Wallace. That's because they had 2 big men out there. That's why they didn't guard the 3. Melo would have been out there on the perimeter. They would have had Melo, Tayshaun, Rip, Chauncey on the perimeter, and 1 person. You only need 1 big, bro. That's starting.
And obviously that enabled San Antonio to escape from Detroit with a victory and ultimately win that series in 7 games. Those 2 Piston teams, Melo would have been coming off the bench. And I'm telling you right now, there ain't no way in hell they wouldn't have won. I believe they would have won.
Okay, I mean, I guess the bench thing, I don't agree with the bench thing because they traded for Rasheed in the middle of the season. So, but they probably could have still did it because Melo was on a rookie contract, so it ain't like they signed him, but maybe they still could have traded for Rasheed, but we don't know what would happen. It's hypothetical anyway, so. But like you said, even if Melo came off the bench for the first 2 years, they still would have won.
Titles both years. They had to beat the Lakers anyway, and they had to beat San Antonio. And Melo would have been coming off the bench because the Pistons were the number 1 defense the year they won the title.
Yeah, I agree. If they traded for Rasheed, okay, it don't matter if he come off the bench the first 2 years.
And they were number 2 in defense when they lost the title the following year to San Antonio in 7 games. The only thing that I would say about Melo is this. Melo is going to be a Hall of Famer. You know, the Basketball Hall of Fame is not just...
Yeah, he's going to make it. He's going to make it.
Pro, it's your collegiate career and all of that other stuff. We know he was a champion at Syracuse. Melo is a big-time scorer, averaged 21 a game as a rookie. The fabulous...
Like 21 a game as a rookie. Darko averaged like 2 or 3 points. I remember.
It's a player. But the one thing that you can hold against Melo is what I've said religiously. It was never supposed to be Bosh. It was supposed to be D-Wade, Melo, and LeBron. D-Wade, LeBron, and Bosh were willing to sign contracts in 2007 that allowed them to be free agents in 2010. Melo wanted the whole deal. He wasn't trying to give away no money, so he took
I mean, how can you blame him?
the money from Denver, had to delay his departure from Denver until a year later.
Yeah, then he had to force a trade. He do got a point, though, 'cause the Knicks, basically, I remember the Knicks gave up the little guy. They gave us some good players, I remember, from Melo. But they could have avoided all that. He could have just went to the Knicks if he would have let himself be a free agent. It probably would have been a better situation for him.
Then when he got to New York, he should have left earlier than he ultimately did, but wanted to stay in New York, playing for the billionaire that was Dolan inside the corridors of Madison Square Garden instead of landing himself with a better team. So on 2 occasions, he cost himself an opportunity to be with a better team, better players, and have more help because he wanted the money. That's the only thing that you can knock Melo about. But I promise you, if he were in Detroit, he'd have 2 rings.
Well, I disagree with the Detroit point, but I will say this. Carmelo Anthony, in this universe, he didn't win any championships. In a lot of others, like, you could play it out again, and with some differences here and there in the details, he may have won multiple championships depending on where he would have gone. If he'd have gone to San Antonio, for example, obviously if he's with the Heat with LeBron and Wade, he would have won championships. And there's some teams where they really needed a primary scoring option like that back in the ISO ball era, where Melo would have been the guy and they could have won championships. It's not that he couldn't have been a championship player, but Detroit is a specific play. Look, the Darko draft.
Detroit ran a different kind of system. They didn't want nobody. I guess Melo like a ball dominant superstar scorer on their team, I guess, but I still would have took Melo.
Was an outrage. It's like, even at the time, you know, in retrospect, we know that, but at the time, like, are you kidding? Carmelo Anthony? There were some people asking whether after Syracuse won, is Carmelo the #1 overall pick? I disagreed with them, but it's not like they didn't exist. Carmelo was a great, great player. The Detroit team, though, you're forgetting. It's not that they couldn't have beaten the Lakers in the finals with Carmelo on that team. But what really made that 04 team special was that they were, in my opinion, well, I'll tell you this, they were the greatest defensive team I've ever seen in any sport in my lifetime. St. Louis Cardinals of Ozzie.
That's a strong statement, but Ben Wallace won the 4 defensive player of the years. Rasheed was great in the post. Tayshaun used to play good defense on Kobe. He played great defense on Kobe in the 2004 finals, and T-Mac. I remember a lot of times T-Mac couldn't really dominate Tayshaun like that. Like in the younger years, like 02, 03, yeah, but like after that, Tayshaun used to block him up, man. I remember.
Smith and Keith Hernandez had some great teams.
And then Chauncey was a good defender to me too, with his strength and everything. And then Rip was long, like it was a team thing too, so they can kind of hide Rip. He wasn't a bad defender to me though. He wasn't bad.
Obviously, the Baltimore Ravens and the Chicago Bears had some great defensive teams. They won championships, all the places I just mentioned. But the Detroit 04 teams, my dad used to tell me stories, Stephen A., of the Knicks used to hold teams under 90. The Detroit Pistons used to routinely hold teams under 70, the 04 Pistons. It was absurd.
Yeah, against the Lakers. I remember the Lakers, they destroyed them, man, those games. Game 2, 3, 4, and 5.
The reason for that, there was no weak links. Who was the weakest link
I'm
on
sorry,
defense?
game.
Rip Hamilton?
I think it was whatever game Kobe hit that 3, that was the only game they won. But the other 4 games was like terrible, bro. Like they shut them down.
The starting 5, that was their calling card. So forget about the Lakers series. Carmelo, they win anyway. The Indiana Pacers series, that was the best defensive series I'd ever seen. 7-game series. I don't know that if you add a defensive weak link there, even if you get more on offense, you even get past the Pacers.
Okay, Max using a little logic. I can't really get mad at him. I'm gonna let him keep going.
Maybe the next year when they came close, adding Carmelo helps them win maybe 1, but multiple rings as though you replay 04 and they do it with Carmelo instead. I don't know about that.
Max,
Stephen A is disgusting.
I disagree
He's
with you.
disgusted with that.
I think that we've got multiple championships,
Thank you.
and I'll say this: so much of being in the league
has to deal with the condition in which your first team is that you get drafted to, right? I'll give you a small example. So I came out of college running pick and roll every possession. Every possession. My first year with the Bulls, we ran the triangle. Like, I had no idea what that offense even was. And
Yeah, because Williams was a good player at Duke, man. No matter what nobody. Jason was a good point guard at Duke. I remember. But like you said, he went to the wrong team, man, and then he got into that motorcycle accident. That was it. But at least he got a good job at ESPN. Like, shout out to him.
by the way, our leadership was drastically different. So when
Look at his
Melo
Twitter
goes to
handle. If you want to follow at Real J Williams. I don't really use Twitter that much, but yeah, that's it.
Denver, he's automatically the alpha. People are doing what Melo wants, which I think really kind of shaped up the ego of Melo as that transcended his ultimate career, right? But if Melo comes in to the Detroit Pistons and he is a guy like Chauncey Billups, big shot.
Yeah, you see what he did with Chauncey, and that was the older Chauncey Billups in 2009. Went to the Western Conference Finals.
Chauncey Billups that says, come here, Melo, I got you. I'm going to show you how to work. I'm going to show you how to be a pro every single day. Yeah, you might be coming off the bench, but yeah, you can start and you got better defensively every single day in practice. Go at Tayshaun. Go at all these different guys. I think the trajectory of Melo's career would have been drastically different. Yes, I think he would have been at least.
Yeah, I think Jason Williams had the best logic. I think Jason Williams did the best job on this segment.
Score.
So they did good too. I mean, all of them did good. Like Max, everybody got their opinion, but Max, I like Max's opinion on this with the Pacers, because that was a defensive series. But I don't know. I just don't see them losing them. I don't see Melo losing to Indiana. That was the team that had Jermaine O'Neal. I think they had Ron Artest. Like, yeah, they got all of them, but I think with Melo hitting them big shots and Chauncey, I think they would have still won.
I think we might have seen Melo turn into a completely different player earlier in his career. That might have changed which team he might not even left Detroit for his entire career. You never know that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the end of it. I see what Jason Williams saying. Like, what if Melo would have played? Like, what if he was still with the Pistons to this day? You know, like, he would have never left. But I don't know, that's hard in this time, especially with Detroit being not being a like free agent destination. But that's it, man. Let me know what y'all think. How many rings will Melo win, man? Put it in the comments if you got drafted to the Pistons in 03 instead of Darko Milicic.